Heyo, this is worksheet 3.5, maybe 3.6, but it's dealing with the perimeter, or talking about perimeter within word problems. Perimeter, might be 3.6, I forgot how I did this. So the directions say for each problem, draw a diagram and then use VISA to solve the equation. We'll go through VISA here in a minute. So the length of a rectangle is 3 times the width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 72 feet. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So let's go back and mark our text. We know the length of a rectangle is or equals 3 times, that means 3 times the width. 3 times W. So, actually let's use multiplication with the dot, and then we're taking 3 times the width. So let's see here, we have a length and we have a width. We just got a statement telling us about the length. The length is yada yada yada. We do not get a statement about the width. So we're going to say that the width is x, or any variable that you want. You can use w if you wanted to. But the length is 3 times whatever the width is. So if I'm calling the width x, then the length is 3 times x. So 3x. Alrighty. The perimeter of the rectangle is 72 feet. So now to get perimeter, you take length plus width plus length plus width. You got to go around all 4 sides of the perimeter, or of the rectangle, to get the perimeter. Now I'm supposed to find the dimensions. So I could say right now, I could start answering the question. The length is blank and the width is blank. Now I just got to figure out those blanks. So this is called my verbal model, and they also asked us to make a rectangle. So the width, so if the width is x, the length is 3x, and the width across of it is x, and then the length across from the other length is 3x, because opposite sides of a rectangle are the same. So now let's substitute in 3x for the L and x for the W. But realize, again, we have to add the length twice and the width twice. So here we are. Now I'm going to drop the feet. I'm not going to label it in feet, but when I answer my question down here, I will go back and state that those are in feet. So we have to solve this equation, but we should simplify this thing first. We can combine like terms. 3x and 1x and 3x plus 1x is 8x. So 8x equals 72. We can now simply solve that equation by dividing by 8, so x equals 9. So what does that mean? Remember, x represents our width. So our width is x. So our width is 9 feet. And then our length is 3 times x. So that's 3 times 9, which is 27 feet. So my length is 27 feet, which is just one apostrophe, by the way. That means feet. And then our width is 9 feet. Bada bing, bada boom. The width of a rectangle is yada yada yada. 4 inches less than the length. The perimeter is or equals 32 inches. Find the length and the width of the rectangle. Oh, I never really addressed what that VISA thing meant. So it means make a visual and a verbal model. Then you're going to use n variables, and they're going to make an equation out of that. You're going to solve the equation, and you have to make sure you go back and answer the question, which I did down here, but I didn't circle it. Boom. That's where we got to look. Although Mr. P will go back and look at your work anyway. I want to see the answer clearly circled. So the width of a rectangle, is yada yada yada. We know we have a width and a length. And the length is upset because it didn't get a statement talking about it. The width did. Because the length didn't get a statement talking about it, we give it an x. But check this out, we can then use that x to make an expression for the width. The width is 4 inches less than the length. So if the length is x, the width is x minus 4, or 4 less than the length. Let's make a quick picture. Here's the length, here's the width, And by the way, I know the perimeter is 32. So how do we get the perimeter? We take the length plus the width plus the length plus the width. March all the way around the outside of this rectangle. That's how you calculate the perimeter. So there's our verbal model. Now let's use the algebra behind it. So length is x. Width is x minus 4. I have another length that I have to add to it, and the length is x. And another width I have to add to that, which is x minus 4. And that equals 32. So now there's this big equation, but really it's pretty simple. I need to simplify it. So I have 4x minus 8. Thank you. Starts Monday? Okay. Thanks a lot. So now we're solving for x. We get 4x equals 40. I think I got a little distracted. I think my algebra is right, but what's nice about this is we can go back, just like all algebra, all linear algebra, we can easily check that this is correct. So I'm saying that the length is x, and x is 10. So I'm saying the length is 10, and I'm saying the width is 6. So let's go back and put that in. The length is 10, the width is 6. It says the width is 4 less than the length, and hey, 6 is 4 less than 10. And guess what happens when you add 10 and 6 and 10 and 6? You get 32. So I can very confidently say that the length is 10 inches. We were talking about inches here. 10 inches, and the width is 6 inches. There we are. Let's do 5 and 7. The perimeter of a rectangular skating rink, which is kind of goofy. You're probably like, what? I don't know, call it a basketball court. So I'll call it something that you know is rectangular, because most skating rinks that I know are oval, but whatever. So it's a rectangle. The perimeter is 530 feet. The length is, they gave me a statement for the length. The length is 5 feet more than 3 times the width. So I don't have a statement for the width, but I do have a statement for the length. So the width gets the x. But then the length is 5 feet more means adding, than 3 times, that means take some value and multiply it by 3, the width. The value that I was multiplying by 3 is the width. And I'm calling the width x. So I need to take 3 times x. But then I got to tack on 5 more than that. Because it says take 5 more than 3 times the width, or 3 times x in that case. What are the, that's probably not supposed to say width, it's probably supposed to say what are the dimensions. So I got to put a box around that question, what are the dimensions? Alrighty, so remember to get perimeter, we take length plus width plus length plus width. And that needs to equal 530. So then we substitute in our variables for the verbal model. So the length is 3x plus 5. The width was just x, but do it again. We need to add all 4 sides. The length is 3x plus 5, and the width is x. So there's our big equation, but let's simplify that thing. Remember, there's a hidden 1 in front of this x and that x. So when you add up the coefficients of the x's, you get 8x. So I was adding these values together. That makes 8x. But then don't forget that there's a 5 and a 5, which are also like terms. We can combine those to call them 10. So look how much simpler. Oh, we just simplified the equation to that. So now we solve for x. Mr. Linton, what's 520 divided by 8? So x equals, oh man, so 50 gets us up to 400. We have another 120, that would be 15, I think. So 65, I think. Let's go with that. And then, yeah, 640. Yeah, that's right. So then our width is 65, and our units were feet. So 65 feet. Then what's our length? Well, take 3 times 65 and add 5. So 3 times 60 is 180. 3 times 5 is 15. So that makes 195. Plus 5 is 200. Or just feel free to use a calculator, huh? So I know that 200 is 3 times the width plus 5, because that's what I did to get the 200. And now the question is, oh, dun dun dun, when I take the length plus the width, do I get 530 feet? Oh, drum roll, please. That was a weird. Was that a tractor? So let's start the tractor instead of rolling on the drum. When you add these up, folks, guess what you get? Yes, 530. Oh, fantastic. So I know that the width is truly 65 feet, and I know that the length is truly, the width is 65 feet, and the length is 200 feet. You guys should write neater than Mr. Pischke writes. I'm setting a low bar. I'm probably running out of time. We'll try this one more. I'll probably have to snip it shorter. I'll go really faster. The width of a rectangular crib, do you think? Okay. The width of a rectangular crib is 12 inches less than twice the length. Ooh, 12 inches less. That means subtraction. Then twice. I circled that because it's a number. It's also an operation. 2 times the length. This is all about the width. So I have a width and a length, and the width got a sentence about it. It feels pretty special. The length feels left out. So remember that left out value we call x. And then check out how we can build an expression using the length, using that x, with this statement here. So let's see, the width is double the length, or 2 times the length, but 12 inches less than that. 12 inches less than double the length. So that'd be 2x minus 12. The perimeter is, or equals, 96 inches. So if I take the width plus the length plus the width plus the length, that's how you get perimeter of a rectangle, that equals 96. So now substitute your values in for the width and the length. The width is 2x minus 12. The length is x. The width is 2x minus 12. And the length is x. That equals 96. So now, holy cow, look at that big scary equation. It's not scary. Let's just take a deep breath and combine like terms. So we've got 2x and 1x and 2x and 1x. Those are like terms. That makes 6x. But don't forget about the negative 12, right? Because that minus sign affects the value after it. You can chop slash that. So that's a negative 24. Equals 96. Oh, this is a really easy equation to solve. I made it too easy for you. So you get 6x equals 120. So divide by 6 to get x equals 20. Let's plug it back in. The length is 20 inches, right? 20 inches. 2 apostrophes for that. What's the width? Well, take 2 times x, which is 20, and subtract 12. So you get 40 minus 12 is 28. 28 inches. So let's see here. If you take double the length, which would be 40, and then subtract 12, you should get 28. Yeah, you do. So that works. Now the question is, does this actually make a perimeter of 96? I'm nervous about this one. Are you nervous about this one, Mr. Linson?
Definitely.
He's walking away. He's nervous. Oh, hey, it works out. It's 96. Yes, that's definitely right. So then we find the dimensions. The width is 28 inches, and the length is 20. Circle that. Did I make 15 minutes?